Hello, everyone, and welcome back into our bite-sized sessions going over Business Central or BC or Dynamics 365 Business Central. You've probably heard it said multiple different ways. I primarily refer to it as BC, so you'll probably hear me talk about and say BC or Business Central instead of Dynamics 365 Business Central. It's a bit of a mouthful, so I most likely will be saying BC. Now, previously we went over sell quotes, and today we're going to go over sales orders. The difference really between a sales order and a sales quote is a sales order tends to show the customer like the definite details about the price and quantity of like their official order. The quote just kind of gives them a hypothetical price, like it's just something that maybe you want to agree on, just give them an idea. Depending on your work or the client that you're working with, some might want a sell quote before they get a order, or some will just like go ahead and send the order. Either way, if you're unfamiliar and you haven't sent one of these before, you haven't filled one of these before out, we're just going to go through it. Now, today, as I just stated, we're going to talk about sales orders. And to get through that, obviously, you can see it right here, like he's hanging out right there. But if you don't see him, because depending on the role you have with NBC, it might change like what you see up here, as we've talked about in previous bite-sized sessions. You can hit the downwards arrow or the drop-down menu at the sales, and you're going to see sales order and sales quotes here as well. So we're just going to hit sales orders. And we've definitely went through and kind of done a couple of sales before. You can see our test customer and stuff like that. I can click into any of these and just see what's going on. If I need to change out the customer name, add more to it because the customer asked me to come back through and add some things, just get a kind of history about what's going on, everything of that nature. So we're just going to go ahead and hit the plus new. I'm going to hit this little guy right here. Going to fill in the customer name. The three ellipses is going to give us all of our customers, but I'm going to go with test customer because this is just a quick demonstration, right? Document date, order date, when this should be due by, any sort of external documents that we want to add. And here there's asterisks. So anytime when you NBC, if you see any asterisks, that means that is what needs to be filled out no matter what you're doing. And so I am now going to pick from some of my database, like what we do in my fictional Cronus business as we sell furniture to classrooms or to businesses or to showrooms, right? So we're going to add in this Berlin guest yellow chair. I'm just picking one from random because it seems nice. So we're adding that in. And then how many is this customer asking for? The customer wanted 3. They're a really big fan of this yellow chair. And so it fills in pretty much everything automatically because the stuff has been uploaded into the back end. And I can see how much this is going to cost, so I could double check to make sure there's nothing weird. If I needed to give some sort of invoice discount because maybe I've worked on something, great. I have more drop down arrow menus for like the details for the invoice if I need it, shipping and billing if I want to make sure everything's where it needs to go. Shipment date, who to bill to. Maybe the customer wants it to be billed to someone else besides the default customer. If there's going to be like prepayment or anything of that nature, if it has something to do with going out of the country, right? Foreign trade. And then that's really about it, right? I can add a plus new entry if I need to. I can share this out with someone else. I can just straight up delete this because maybe I'm like, oh, I don't need to do this, or I just want to start from scratch. Absolutely. Now this does use cloud-based saving like pretty much everything else in BC. So there is no save icon, there's no floppy disk, there's no nothing of that. It just starts saving automatically, and you can see this right here. It has a little check mark that says save, just letting me know that it's done that. And that's really the sales order. What I like to do though, just to make sure how it's going to look when it does get sent over to the customer, is I go to the print and send, and you have email confirmation, print confirmation, attach as a PDF, pro forma invoice, like a bunch of options. But I like to go to the print, and I like to check the preview right here. Like I'm not actually going to print this out. I don't own a printer. Most people my age don't own printers anymore. But for the people that do, that's how you print it. But for me, I just like to use it to see the preview and what this invoice is going to look like, just to make sure like it doesn't look too weird. If I need to change something, I can go back through later. Sincerely Benjamin Chu, if we receive the payment before a certain date, they're going to get a discount, which is really nice to the customer. But it's just letting me know that everything looks kind of legit, looks kind of nice, and then I can hit the X button, close back out. Great. Sometimes your organization is going to ask you to send this out to get an approval before it goes to the customer as kind of like a fail check or a safe check. And that's what the request approval is for. So I can go ahead and send out the request for approval, send approval request. This is a demo account, so nothing's really going to happen when I do this out. But if you need to do that, or if I need to come back through and cancel the approval request for whatever reason and restart over, absolutely, I can do that. Pretty easy peasy stuff, right? And all I have to do now is just hit the back button and we see it hanging out right there. You see that it's open. Released means that it's been released for approval. It doesn't mean that it's been approved yet. You'll see something here, status like approved or declined if it wasn't accepted, and then you can go talk to that person and be like, why wasn't this accepted? Or have you got that thing I sent you yet? Anything that you want to do. It's kind of letting you know with the status quick and visually. And that's really about it when it comes to sales orders. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you found it, interesting or helpful. But my name is Nee, and I was glad to kind of show this off to you today. If you have any or other sort of questions or anything like that, please let us know down below. Have a good one.